Hello world, it's your boy Gerard Eve making a triumphant return to YouTube. If you're anything like me, you probably spent this weekend parked in front of a flat screen somewhere watching Marvel's newest Netflix series, Luke Cage. It's an excellent show, the reviews are looking great so far, and I'd like to share a couple of my own personal thoughts about Marvel's newest black superhero. Let's start with the pros. The soundtrack. Wow, it's top notch. Imagine the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, but for New York's Harlem. Hip-hop, funk, R&B, with actual music guest stars from Faith Evans, Raphael Sadiq to the Delphonics, and all of it's carefully integrated into the plot itself. There was even a significant cameo from Method Man, who did a track on Sway's morning show. The series does an excellent job of integrating itself into the Marvel Universe, with Easter eggs and references to Daredevil and Jessica Jones, of course with a sea of characters who bleed from one series into the next. There are even really heavy references to Iron Man 2. In fact, there's an entire plot point that's based off of some of the technology that's found in that film. There's an almost entirely black cast that sheds light on a lot of talented black actors and actresses. House of Cards' Remy Danton's actor. Mahershala Ali is by far my favorite side character. But also there was Simone Masek, an actress I had never heard of before until this show, but she really makes you feel for her character. The night nurse, Claire Temple, Rosario Dawson's character, has a significant role to play in the series. Her character so far has been a bridge between all of these Marvel Netflix shows up until this point, but she definitely plays her largest role here so far on Luke Cage. Lastly, the series does an excellent job of tying itself into current events in a way that we've rarely seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far. You can tell they went out of their way to demonstrate the relevance of a bulletproof black man in a hoodie. It was a purposeful style choice that matched his environment of Black Harlem and tied in with the police shootings that we see in the media. But it kind of contrasted with the style from Jessica Jones, which largely consisted of t-shirts and a leather jacket. And as much as I love this show, I do have a couple critiques and some things that I kind of disagree with or kind of that I thought would go in a different direction. The first being the main villain of the show, Diamondback. That guy was a cartoon. And I mean that not in the nicest way possible. I mean, you see him, he's very intimidating to the other cast members, and he really seems to be on edge, and he makes decisions spur of the moment without necessarily always thinking them through, and it kind of makes you wonder could that type of individual have amassed a type of wealth and reputation by being the kind of person he was. And he gets really philosophical and makes a lot of religious references, and so he looks well studied on that end. But in terms of being a person and a character that has depth and nuance, he doesn't exactly make the cut. But I do feel that that's more than made up for by the other villains in the series who do have depth, who they do explore on a deeper level. You can look at them and you can see why it is that they're making the decisions they're making. You can even feel for them in some ways. A lot of the ways where when you look at Wilson Fisk in Daredevil, how he was a very well fleshed out villain. You understood where he was coming from. You didn't necessarily agree with his decisions, but you got it. You understood. The show did feel rather preachy at times, but I kind of understand. You have one of the first superhero series based on a black character, and I think the director saw it as an opportunity to educate Black America about its history and work ethic, which is arguably commendable. I just felt that at several points the dialogue suffered because of it. Another thing is Luke Cage himself is also kind of a perfect person. And what I got from the story is that he doesn't appear to have any real character flaws, besides being a black man in America. Compare that to Daredevil's Matt Murdock, who selfishly chooses to fight crime and corruption at the expense of his relationships, or Jessica Jones, who's a raging alcoholic, is barely holding it together. I hope in the future Luke Cage is humanized a bit more. But as I said, I kind of understand why they went that route. The show wasn't really about Luke Cage as a person, I feel as much as it was about his place in society and finding his role as a hero. All in all, the series was great. 10:10 would watch again, and I'm going for a coffee break. Hey, babe, wait up.